Innocent in Death, book 24 in the Eve Dallas series. And welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina K-S-T-I-N-A. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, no fancy schmidt stuff going on here. We read a book and we talk about a book. So, a couple years ago, I read all these books, reviewed all these books, but they're my comfort books. They're my go-to books. And I wanted to figure out a way to do it again without reviewing them again. So this time we're not talking about the plot. You can go see the videos on those where I talk about the plot. But me and my co-host here are going to spoil character. This is 100% character spoilization. And there's a lot to get through in this because this is the first time, if you read Stolen in Death, or you're waiting to go through them all with me before getting to Stolen in Death, this is the first time we meet Magdalena. And this is also the evil child, but this is the first time we meet Magdalena. So, we are reading a lot today. So, they're heading to the case to question somebody. And I will try not to hit the plot at all, because you want to see that, go to my other video. In-depth D. Louise book series. I've got them all categorized. So, Peabody continued, speaking of the islands, how was your vacation? It was good. A week of sun, sand, and sex. What could be better? This snow's starting to stick. Yeah, we're going to get maybe 4 inches. Then they go on the case a little bit longer, and they talk about the case a few more lines, and then she turns to, I can use the exercise. I ate my way through the holidays, and I'm expecting McNabb to spring for something resembling chocolates for Valentine's Day, so I need to lose in advance. What are you getting for Rourke? For what? For Valentine's Day. I should have my props. I just got his Christmas stuff 5 minutes ago. She stepped out of the car, remembered the scarf stuffed in her coat pocket, pulling it out. Eve swung it around her neck. 2 months ago, and it's Valentine's Day for sweethearts. You need to get him a gooey card and a sentimental token. I've already got McNabb's. It's a talking picture frame with our names inscribed on it. I put this shot of the two of us his father took at Christmas. He can keep it in his cube at EDD. Rourke would like something like that. Rourke already knows what we look like. A mini coupe skidded at the light, fishtailed into the crosswalk, and earned the curses and snarls of pedestrians. She loved New York. Speaking of pictures, I've got a new one of Bella. Have you seen her since she's been back? No. She's asking for tats and belly rings already? Come on, she's seriously adorable. She's got Leonardo's eyes and Mavis's mouth. God help us if she inherits their fashion sense along with it. She smiles at me every time I pick her up. Above her scarf, under her watch cap, Peabody's eyes went to brown goo. People say that's gas, but she smiles at me. She's getting so big, and she's... While Peabody wraps his eyes about Mavis's infant, Eve listened to the music of New York. The blasting horns, the arguments, the rambling ad blimps from overhead. Through them, there were voices of rat-a-tat conversations, a litany of complaints. So what are you going to take her? What? Take who? What? To Bella, Dallas, when you go to see her, the gift. What gift? Seriously stymied, Eve stopped in the middle of the sidewalk. Why do I have to take a gift? Because... Why didn't I just do the shower thing with the gifts and the hospital thing? Yes, but when you go to visit the baby at home for the first time, it's traditional to what? Who makes this stuff up? Seriously aggrieved, Eve jabbed a finger into the marshmallow puffiness of Peabody's winter coat. I demand to know who makes these rules. It's madness. Tell me who it is. I'll have them committed for psychiatric evaluation. Ah, Dallas, you just need to bring a little teddy bear or a pretty rattle. It's fun shopping for baby stuff. My ass! You know what's fun? Eve hauled open the door of the office building, finding out who poisoned some poor slob of a history teacher. That's fun. Any more talk about shopping, gifts, baby, gooey cards, and Valentine's Day? My boots going so far up your butt, you'll think your toes your tongue. And as they walked away, Peabody mutters, a week at the beach sure sweetened your mood. Alright. Then they do some more of the case, and then Eve has this thing. Why is there a February? Eve demanded. February should be eliminated altogether for the good of mankind. It's the shortest month, so that's something. Peabody actually moaned as the heat came on. I think my corneas are frozen. Can that happen? They can in February. Let's stick with, and they go with the back to the case again. But that was just that was cute. So Eve is involved in the case. And I forgot to say in the beginning, Eve is a lieutenant in the New York City Police and Security Department. Walker is her husband. Peabody is her partner. McNabb is Peabody's life partner. Mavis and Leonardo are married. Mavis is a single. Leonardo is a fashion designer. And they just had their baby Bella. Somerset is Rourke's major domo. Caro is his secretary, lady of everything. And Feeney is the captain in EDD, Eve's former mentor. Mira is the department shriek. We'll check on her in a minute. But Eve doesn't like social situations, and she's trying to come to grip with the fact that every once in a while she needs to do some social stuff for Rourke. He invades her cases, he helps with her cases all the time, so she needs to be able to help him in his dinner meetings and stuff like that. So they're on the case and they're planning their stuff. And Peabody says, hate to dig on an empty stomach, not to be a whiner, but we hadn't had a dinner break and it's nearly 8. Maybe we could. 8? Dinner? Jeez, Dallas, just a hoagie. S. Dinner 8. French place. F. Why is it nearly 8? Because the Earth rotates on its axis while it orbits around the sun. You're supposed to be somewhere? Rourke, corporate wife duty. Eve wanted to pull out her hair. I missed the last 2. I can't do the no-show again. Lee Prem Temps, that's it. Lee Prem Temps, ooh la la. That's magique. Totally on Upper East Side. Hate to point this out, Dallas, but we're on the Lower West. I know where the hell we are. She battered her fist on the wheel as she spun into the garage at Cop Central. I have to go. I have to do this. I'm already late. The case is going to hold for the night, Peabody pointed out. We've got nothing but paperwork now anyway. I can write the reports and do the runs and the digging in the morning. Copy the report, my home and office unit. Anything else in your notes that strikes you? Get out. I gotta go to this stupid French place. Aren't you gonna go home and change first? Into what? I don't have time. Then she grabbed Peabody by a fistful of puffy coat. Do this one thing for me. Tag Rourke. Tell him I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Caught a case. Running late. I'm heading there now. Okay. I can't do it. He'll see I'm in regular clothes, and he told me I should take a change into work, but I nixed it. Like I want to go prancing around Central in some fancy dress. Aggravation all but steamed out of Eve's pores. Do you know the grief this causes me? Honestly, I don't know how you suffer through it. I'd crack like an egg in your place. Oh, bite me and tag Rourke. She all but shoved Peabody from the vehicle and was wiping the wheel and speeding out. She couldn't remember what she tossed on the morning, and since she was driving like a maniac, couldn't afford the time to check herself out in traffic. The stupid snow. She needed to weave and dodge, made switching to autopilot an impossibility. Possibility smelled of death. Well, it's his own fault, she decided. He married her, didn't he? It wasn't as if she made full of disclosure on what a crappy wife she'd make for him. Like, she had to go and fall for a man who owned the lion's share of the known universe and had on to occasion tried out his wife for the odd and awkward mix of... I gotta cut that tag off. He wouldn't complain if that she was late. In fact, he wouldn't even be annoyed with her. If a cop had to get married and God knew they had were better solo, she couldn't do better than hooking up with a man who understood that dress messed with personal business. The job messed with personal business constantly, and because he wouldn't complain or be annoyed, she felt even more guilty for forgetting the dinner and more determined to beat the hellish traffic. She broke one of her own rules, hit the sirens, and used the cop for personal gain. Uh, Guidance system on. Where the hell is this place? New York City, Le Temps. One moment, please, while you request this program. Le Temps is located at 212 East 93rd Street between 2nd and 3rd. Would you care to make a reservation? I got one. She swoops in, she double parks, she goes in the restaurant. The maitre d' sees her in her clothing. Madam, I regret we can't seat walk-ins. How do you seat anyone if they don't walk in? She shrugged off a coat. Peabody had the meggish right, Eve noted. Every woman in the place sparkled and gleamed. Check the coat, Pierre, and it's your ass if it's not there when I leave. Mademoiselle, I must ask you to leave quietly. I'll be sure to do that after I eat. She smoothed down the brown jacket to be sure her weapon was concealed, though she was tempted to flash it just to watch the tight-ass maitre d' crack his head on the floor as he passed out. Now we can go around right here, she suggested, or you can give your diners a show along with dinner, or you can tell me where my party is. Reservation Rock. She said the magic word. He lost color and shade by shade until he'd gone from ruddy to pasty. Apparently, the name of Rourke carried as much power and threat as the police issue. I beg your pardon, Madam Rourke. Dallas, Lieutenant, where's the table? If you would please follow me. My coat, I like my coat. Of course, it's a beautiful garment. He snapped his fingers. See to Madame to the lieutenant's coat, will you? Your party is already seated. It will be my pleasure to bring you a cocktail. Whatever they got's fine. She scanned the room with all its guilt and glory, then followed the chastened maitre d'. He saw her coming. Knowing she'd be late, he'd chosen the table with that in mind. He loved watching her walk into a room, carelessly long strides, the cop eyes seeing every detail. In the simple jacket and pants, she and his eyes had outshone every woman in the room. When their eyes met, he got to his feet. Good evening, Lieutenant. Sorry I'm late. Champagne for my wife, he said without taking his eyes off of her. He drew her back himself. Let me introduce you to Natalie and Sam Derrick. So this is Eve. I'm thrilled to meet you. Natalie flashed this wide grin, even as she gazed tracked over Eve's clothes. Glad you could join us. Sam held out a hand the size of a rump roast. Pumped Eves twice. Rourke told us it's hard for you to get away from work. I just can't think how you investigate murders. She glanced at Natalie. First, I need a body. She felt Rourke's hand pat her thigh twice. It's a lot of detail, she continued, and not nearly as interesting as it comes across in vid or on screens. I'm sure that's not true, but I don't suppose we want to talk about unpleasant things, Natalie beamed. Sam was just about to tell the story of how he caught the biggest bass in Jasper County. Wow, was all Eve could say. And uh so they have their dinner conversation, and Eve gets, what are you doing? Eve gets hurt, massively hurt, and it takes the whole book. It literally eats at her the entire book. Um Magdalena walks in the restaurant, and Rourke, for a split second, absolute split second, and that second she will harass Rourke to death about that split second that he looks at Magdalena the way he looked at Eve, just for one split second, and that will eat at Eve for the entire book. Then Magdalena calls him early the next morning. She remembers he's an early riser, wants to do lunch. And Eve is just livid that he's gonna actually have lunch with this woman, and they have a few words about it. Then Rourke tries to explain to her that Magdalene is in the past and all that kind of stuff, and Eve is just not seeing it. She's so upset. And on the way out, Eve tells Somerset, just don't say anything. And Somerset arched his brows, speculated, then glanced up as Rourke came to the top of the stairs. The lieutenant seems more abrasive than usual this morning. She's having a mood, hands in his pocket. Rourke frowned at the front door. A damned uncharacteristic mood, he thought. Magdalene is in town. We're having lunch today. Apparently Eve doesn't like it. He met Somerset's eyes, and the expression in them had the temper he'd barely gotten back under control straining again. Don't start on me. I've had enough drama for one day, and it isn't even 8 in the bloody morning. Why would you complicate your life? I'm not. I'm having lunch. Leave it be. And Rock walked away. And then Eve just contemplates it the whole way to work. And she picks up Peabody. And she was still drinking, still staring, when after a quick knock, Peabody walked in. Morning, how was your dinner thing? I ate. Get your coat. We're going to the Vic's apartment. And they talk about the case. And then Peabody goes, are you set for tomorrow? Tomorrow? Now. If it's now, it's not tomorrow night. What did you smoke for breakfast? All I had was rehydrated grapefruit. The holiday weight just won't get the hell off me. It's all cookies, Peabody gave you more slide. My ass is entirely made up of cookies. What? I like cookies. Every kind. I had no strength against the mighty variety tin of Christmas cookies. My grandmother still makes them from scratch. I thought cookies were made of sugar. Scratch is from sugar, from flour and eggs and carbo chips and butter. Butter. Like from cows. Cows are a milk thing. Eve waited while a herd of pedestrians crossed the street. I don't understand why anyone wants to drink something that comes out of a cow like well piss. You make butter from milk. If we're talking real deal, damn. Now I'm hungry. I can't talk about cookies. My ass is expanding just from conversation. I was talking about something. Oh, now. It became and it's now all over again. Brown it, Peabody turned her head to look at Eve. You're trying to confuse me, and hey, nice job. You know I mean Nadine's new show. You're first up tomorrow for the premiere. And I'm trying not to think about it. It's going to be Mag. What are you wearing? I thought for kicks I'd try wearing clothes. Yes, ma'am. I gotta take the stupid tag off. It's been on here forever. Um, uh, Come on, Dallas. The show's national and satellite. It's getting mega hype. Let Rock pick out your clothes. I know how to dress. I've been wearing clothes for years now. She thought of Magdalena again and the bold red dress with the silver shoes. I'm a cop, not some fashion whore. If he wanted someone who struts around on stilts wearing fancy dresses, he shouldn't have married me. I don't think your wardrobe was a factor. Cautiously, Peabody dipped a toe in dangerous waters. Did you have a fight? Not exactly, but I think we're due. I'll say. And then they get into the case again. And Rourke has lunch with Magdalena. We'll stop with all the details. She makes a move on him. He rejects it. Then after the lunch, Magdalena's is it here? After the lunch, Magdalena had it set up because I'm not gonna read it all. But Magdalena had it set up so there was photographer and videographer and stuff. As they were leaving the restaurant and the limo pulled up, and Magdalena turned her face just such, and it was supposed to be a really romantic thing, and all the tabloid channels picked it up and all that kind of stuff to make it look like they were actually a thing. And so it'll be played on all the nightly news, but we didn't. But that's what happened back there. We will discuss it again, and it will come up. But Just as she pushed back from her desk, Peabody poked her head in. There's a Magdalena Purcell out here wants to see you. The center of Eve's belly sank, then tightened like a fist. Did she give you the nature of her business? She said it was personal. I don't remember her from any of the lists we're working on, but no, she's not on any. Send her back, then go home. Home? But it's only 20 minutes past end of shift. Whatever will I do with the unexpected largesse? Report to my home, 0800, and we'll catch some of those names before they go wherever the hell they go all day. So then Magdalena comes in and has to rub it in that she had lunch with Rourke and kicks her out. And then Eve and Somerset have a talk about she walked in and Somerset slid into the foyer, the cat a fat shadow at his heels. Let me just say kiss my ass and avoid the rest of the conversation. I've got work. He isn't home yet. Thanks for the report. He had to reschedule some meetings in order to take a personal lunch. Eve tossed her coat over the newel post and whirled. At least she had a handy target for the rage that churned with the sickness in her belly. Couldn't wait to rub my face in that one. I bet you're just dancing a dig that Maggie's in town. Well, you can. On the contrary, I couldn't be less pleased. I'd like a moment of your time. For what? I dislike discussing Rourke this way, and you're only making it more difficult. However, my concerns leave me. I feel little choice in the matter. Her mouth was dry now. What kind of concerns? Come into the parlor for a moment. There's a fire. Fine, fine, fine. So they go. Will you sit? What do you need to say? I'll pour you some wine. No, just spill it. She's a dangerous woman, Lieutenant. In what way? She manipulates people. She maneuvers. She enjoys the adventure of conflict, and she has power. As truly beautiful women usually do in her case. It's well honed even a dozen years ago. I don't imagine it's lost its edge. No, it hasn't, Eve said. She's got a punch, and added to it, she has a strong intellect. How long were they together? She asked. Don't tap us around this. How long? A number of months, nearly a year. Long time. Why did it end? Magdalena dumped Rourke for a richer mark than Rourke. She also tried to frame Rourke for a crime. And they went their separate ways after that. Rourke did not get caught or anything like that. He was too smart for all that. But so they get the news from that. And then Rourke and Eve have words of a Magdalena. No, the Queen of May. A bit early for her. Does she work anything like the February groundhog? Gee, that's funny, but get back to the topic. She came to see me at end of shift. Thought we would have a nice chatty drink, the be pals. Guess what my answer was? I'm sorry if she upset you. She's outgoing, impulsive. I imagine she was curious about you. Is that what you imagine? She felt the anger whirring with something inside her, something she recognized as acute distress. Even after you told her she wouldn't like me. No more than you would like her. Very likely she intended to make the gesture and prove me wrong. I think that was pretty low on her list of intentions. You're going to work with her? I'm not, no. Then she's a liar? If she said I was, she misspoke or you misconstrued. I misconstrued? Christ Jesus, you're trying to box me into a corner, and there is none to be had. We had a perfectly innocent lunch, at which time she asked for my help with some investments she wanted to make. I agreed to give her some direction and a list of names she might work with. It's nothing I haven't done for other people countless of times. But she's not other people, Rourke. She's Magdalena, Rourke. Come on. You're more intelligent than that, Rourke. Come on. So, we spend several pages on that conversation, and then he picks out a change of clothes for her and the TV show. There's a change of clothes in the bag there for your spot tonight with Nadine. Why do I need to change? Consider it a precaution in the event that you have a normal day and end up with blood on you or tear your pants while tackling suspect after a mad foot chase. The way things are going, I'll spend most of my day buried in paperwork and getting nowhere. In that happy event, no, not that jacket. What's wrong? Though she scowled in irritation, a part of her was happy with his comment. The normalcy of it. She wanted to grin like an idiot. I'm not particularly screen friendly. Neither am I. True enough. However, I don't need you to pick up my clothes. Oh, darling Eve, you so absolutely do. He pulled out a jacket in bronze tone she swore she'd never seen before, paired it with a deep brown trousers, a cream-colored turtleneck. Be wild and crazy. He draped the pieces over the back of the sofa. Wear some earrings, some old gold hoops for half. When she started to snarl, he caught her face in his hands and kissed her. Aww. Um, and then Peabody comes in and she's like, nice threads, Rourke, right? Who else? Since obviously if left to my own devices, I'm commit such fashion felonies as would frighten small children and embarrass multitudes. Misdemeanors anyway. And Eve is upset. Peabody is disappointed that they're not going up to the office. They're going to go out to the field. Yeah, Peabody was looking forward to Eve's home auto chef. But that didn't happen. But Peabody finally brings up the elephant in the room, shall we say. Rough night. Life's full of rough nights. Look, if you want to talk about it or just spew, that's what partners are for. There's a woman. No possible way, Peabody says. It was said so quickly with such easy confidence Eve would have been comforted under any other circumstances. There's a woman, she said. One he used to be involved with a long time ago. Seriously involved. She's back and she's making moves. He doesn't see them as moves. He doesn't see what she is under the glass. We've got a problem. You sure? It only took one look from Eve for Peabody to blow out a breath. Okay, you're sure. First, I'm going to say he wouldn't twist on you, not with anyone. But having some bitch put moves on him is a steamer. You want to go have a talk with her, put a little muscle into it. We can tune her up, put her ass on a shuttle for Siberia. Sounds good to me. She stopped at a light, scrubbed her hands over her face. Can't do it, can't touch her, can't beat her to death with a hammer and bury her in White Plains. Bloomfield would be better than White Plains. It got a weak laugh. I don't know how to do this, how hard to push him, how far to stand back. I don't know the steps and strategy. I think I've already screwed up. Dallas, I think you should tell him this hurt you. I've never had you tell him something like that before. He sees stuff in me before I do. It's effing me up. It's effing us up. I've got to do my job anyway. And they start talking about the case. And then Somerset has the words with her. Um uh oh, wait a minute, this is the wrong one. Um oh, this is Eve. Oh, Eve's telling Mira about what happened. Uh I just don't know the rope. Somerset told me she's dangerous. Somerset? Yeah, there was almost an amusement at the surprise in Mira's tone. Kick in the head, right? He actually prefers me over her for Rourke right now. That doesn't surprise me in the least. Why does he say she's dangerous? She's a user, he says. Left Rourke about a dozen years ago. A long time. He'd have been very young. Yeah. It cuts deeper when you're young, before you really build up the skin for being hurt that way. She left him. That's worse. It's worse because it's unfinished business to him, because it didn't just come to its natural conclusion or whatever. She walked out on him and then she walked back in. We were in this fancy restaurant, business dinner, and I was late, caught this case, and I didn't change, so I was, And then she said his name, and he looked over, and she was an eyeful. Red dress, blonde. It was there, just for an instant in his eyes. He doesn't look like at anyone but me like that. but he looked at her just for a second, even a second, half part, but it was there. I saw it. I don't doubt you. There's heat between them. I can feel it. And then he had lunch with her and all this stuff, and she's spewing to Mira, and Mira's trying to help you. And she's like, "Do you doubt he loves you?" "No, but he loved her first." You want my advice? I guess I must since I dumped this on you. Go home, get some sleep. Take something if you must. Get a couple of hours of sleep. Then tell Rook how you feel. Tell him you feel stupid, that you feel hurt, that you know he hasn't done anything. Feelings aren't always rational and reasonable. That's why they're feelings. You're entitled to yours. He's entitled to his. So then Eve doesn't like vending machines at all. Does not like vending machines. She found Peabody at a vending machine just down the hall from the bullpen. Peabody's face was a study in concentration as she scanned the offerings. Energy bar or goo goo bar. The energy bar is, of course, nutritional bound, but the goo goo is delicious and will provide me with great joy until the guilt sets in. What should it be? You're going to go for the fake chocolate and sugar. Why torture yourself over it? Please, Lieutenant, this is a process. The torture is part of the process. Goo goo it is. You want what she wanted was the candy bar she'd hidden in her office, but that was not to be. Yeah, what the hell? While the machine chirped out the goo goo jingle and the nutritional data until Eve wanted to smash it with a hammer. And then they start talking about the case again, so we skip over that. Then Trina is a lady we really don't talk about too much, but she's into hair and makeup, and Eve is like, my hair is short, just comb it, she's done. But Nadine has got Trina has got other issues. Trina needs to treat it because she's got a reputation for being Eve's personal person. And now that Nadine has given her a job, like a part-time gig as needed because it's a weekly show, to do Nadine's makeup for the show once a week. Trina's moving up in the makeup world. And then Trina picks on her too about going to see the baby. So how come you don't look like you just got back from vacation? Mavis said you and Rock took a few days at the beach. She scooped her fingers through Eve's hair, frowned. Let the hair shift, though. Need a little trim. God, oh God! Trina simply put the cape over Eve. How come you haven't been over to see Mavis and the sweet little baby since you got back? One thing about the cape, Eve noted, she could wring her hands if she felt the need, and no one would see. I haven't had time. Your best and oldest friend just had a kid and you don't have time? You know I had to sit on her to keep her from coming tonight. It's too cold to take the baby out. You gotta make time. All right, okay. Bella's the most beautiful thing that ever drew breath, I swear. And you're a mess of knots, and she works on Eve. And Rock comes in. And they talk about how Trina has perfected Eve and she looks good and all that kind of stuff. And you brought the other gear in case I messed up what I already had on. Just part of the service. I figured you'd be pissed. I imagine you'd be pissed at me. This time when he took her hands, he brought them to his lips. Why don't we cancel that out? I considerable brood on most of the day. I'm tired of carrying it around. I thought you told me the Irish like to brood. Oh, we love it. We used to write songs and stories, but I've had enough of that for the time being, and never enough of you. Yeah, but just sick Trina on me. Let's see what happens here. Oh, then she has the interview. She does the interview for now. This is now. This is crime now. This is happening now on Nadine Show. You were perfect, Rourke said when they finally able to get out of the station. It must have gone okay, seeing as Nadine jumped up and did a victory dance the minute the stupid cameras went off. Perfect, he repeated, and turning her to him, laid his mouth on hers, except for the misuse of a pronoun, huh? You said I got lucky. The correct statement, darling, is it's we got lucky. We. I guess we did. No vehicle? I had to take him back so I could drive home with you. So then they talked to Keith and stuff. And, even Rook have breakfast. And I don't know why. Oh, they have a full Irish. They talk about Mavis and Leonardo. They talk about the fact that they need to go over and make a visit, and they need to bring the teddy bear as a gift. Eve tells Rourke what Peabody said, and just the way I like. He crossed over to set their plates, and after one steely warning at Galahad, pulled Eve to her feet. Sexy, dangerous, and mine. Back off, Ace. I'm armed. Just the way I like you. What do you say we do the obvious and cliche for Valentine's Day? A romantic dinner for two, a great deal of champagne, dancing, and incredible amounts of inventive sex. I might be available for that. When the hell was Valentine's Day, Eve thinks. He laughed and readily her perfect. The 14th, my sentimental fool, which would be the day after tomorrow. If work interferes, we'll just have a very late dinner for two, and so forth. You're on. And because it just felt right, she laid her head on his shoulder. She missed the first sentence or two the chirpy on-air reporter said. Even when Rourke's name was announced and her own, she might have let it slip. But he stiffened against her, so focused on the screen. The air inside her body simply evacuated and left her hollow. And here it is. Here is the video of Magdalena and Rourke leaving the restaurant and saying goodbye. And Magdalena forming her face just so the cameras could get it right and the profile right. And identified by sources as European socialite Magdalena Purcell, recently divorced from George Fays, a wealthy French entrepreneur. It appears Miss Purcell has an eye for wealthy men, as she was seen lunching with Rourke only days ago at the exclusive Sisters 3 restaurant here in New York. According to our sources, the pair enjoyed seasonal salads and a great deal of intimate conversation. We wonder if Lieutenant Eve Dallas, one of New York's top cops and Rourke's wife of the last year and a half, is investigating. Those are your tabloid reporters. So Eve does her day thing, and then what do you do when you have a really bad day? You head to your best friend's house. Mavis lifted a glossy black brow. You were going to say human. Okay, yeah, because she does. She also looks like some of you and some of Leonardo. How do you feel? Tired, happy, weepy, thrilled. Want to hold her? No! For 1 minute, you can time it. I would break her. You won't break her. Sit down first, if you're nervous about it. Trapped, Eve avoided the rainbow chair and took the traditional rocker in a neon pink. She braced herself when Mavis leaned over and laid the baby in her arms. And then there's this conversation with Leonardo and Mavis and stuff like that. And then you're not going to tell me Rourke's doing her, because no PW, no possible way. He wouldn't. All guys have the small jerk gene. It makes them guys, but only some have the big jerk gene. He doesn't. No, he's not doing her, but he used to. I used to pick packets. You used to arrest me. It's different, yeah. Eve told her some of it. The red dress, the look. Uber bitch came there to flip you. Yeah, she did. Knowing it, Eve thought didn't make it better. Mission accomplished. Give me a rundown. Like, what are we dealing with? She's kick your dick up, gorgeous, smart, sexy, sophisticated, multilingual, rich, slick, and polished. She's a custom fit for me. Bull poopy. You know what I mean, Mavis. The image. She's everything I'm not. She's the anti-me. That's good. That's complete Meg. How? Because if you two had solid common, it would be said I wouldn't, but it could be said that Rourke hooked on you because you reminded her him of her, that you were the type he went for, but see, you're not. He went for you, not a type. I bet that burns her surgically shaped ass. Oh, I don't get the female business, or it takes me a while. It would burn her ass that I'm anti her, that he didn't keep looking for her, so to speak. We have a winner! Bet the bitch goes frothy at the mouth every time she thinks about it. Right, Bellamissimo? In an answer, Bella burped. That's my girl. That's what she set up the vid. Set up the vid. Jesus, Dallas, you must be knotted up like last week's hairdo if you missed it. I may have been out of the game a few years, but I know a con when I see it. I guess I got knotted up. Hold on. I'm going to put Bella down. Get your wine. We're going to review the evidence. She didn't want to watch it again, but there was too much curiosity for her to refuse. In the living room, Mavis turned on the screen, hit the replay for previous program, and queued up the piece from the morning. Now watch like a cop instead of an injured wife. Even as she said it, Mavis did a conforming arm around Eve's waist. He's looking down at her. Yeah, because she's talking to him. Angling up at him, making sure he's looking at her while the camera rolls. Now catch it. The way she shifts so that they're both turned just enough for the camera to zoom in on their faces. Then even she cheats hers out. She what? Cheats her face. It turns it a little more so the camera can catch the soulful expression she's plastered on it. Slick but obvious. If you pay attention, she's playing you, both of you. Go kick her ass. There's a problem with that. If I kick her ass, it gives her weight. Shit, it does. Another problem, it feels like something for her that already gives her weight. She knows it. You're on the other side of the scale, Dallas, head to head. She doesn't have an izzy fizzy chance in hell. Maybe not, but she's drawn all the blood so far. I'm bleeding, Mavis, and he doesn't see it. Go make him. Go make him. You gotta talk to Rourke. You gotta talk to him. And we're gonna leave it at that. Oh, I wanted to do one little thing. A couple of books ago, Caro's daughter, Caro, was Rourke's secretary. Rather than squeeze into the elevator, she jogged down the steps to the garage, pulling out her link as she went. She hit Caro first, and Rourke's ever-efficient admin sent out a warm smile. Lieutenant, how are you? Good enough, Ken. She stopped herself from shooting right to the point. How are yous required a how are you back? She kept forgetting those sort of details. How you doing? Just fine. I want to thank you for the use of your house in Mexico. Reva and I had a lovely mother and daughter weekend there. It's just beautiful, and the weather couldn't have been better. It was a perfect break from the winter from both of us. Ah, she didn't know Rourke had given Carol and her daughter a couple of days in Mexico. That's good. Now she had to ask about Reva, didn't she? So how's Reva doing? Very well, she's dating again, casually. It's nice to see her enjoying herself. I'm sure you'd like to speak to Rook. Well, yeah. So we'll end it here. But if you want to see my review of the plot, go check out the other video. Innocent in Death. We talk about the plot and the evil child. But I just love the characters. Find out what happens with Magdalena and Eve at the end of the book. There's an altercation. For details, check the book out. And don't forget to check out If Then on Fridays and Star Trek Next Generation recaps on Friday, or Star Trek Voyager recaps every Friday, and of course Flashback Mondays. And if anybody has any ideas for Flashback Monday, please leave it on the Flashback Monday page. And next week we've got Eternity in Death, and the week after we have Creation in Death. And I hope you have a good one.